Hello, beautiful people. I'm over here waiting on everything to go and making sure everything around me is good. But, beautiful mamas, I'm so excited for you watching this, whether it's live or via the replay, because this right here is something that I needed. So, everything that I'm sharing with you all, I'm sharing it because this is something I had to live through. And I mean, let's be honest, a lot of this stuff isn't really easy to live through. But as a mom, it just means that you're qualified in a different way. So take heart. But today is titled Check In with You. And I titled it that because many times we are checking in with our kids, we're checking in with our spouses, we're checking in if you're working for someone else with your bosses, your coworkers. But guess who we forget to check in with? Ourselves. Now, interesting story. When I was younger, I had an uncle who he used to always say, I love me some me. And you guys, I don't know, it just stuck with me. And then so I started saying all the time, I love me some me. I love me some me. And then it started sticking to me. And I started to really love me some me. And at the time we started saying it, I think I was in middle school. And when you're in middle school, you're all over the place. You don't know much, you know? You don't know if you love yourself or hate yourself, you know? And I don't know, just having that seed that he planted changed things for me. However, there were things about myself that I didn't like, and a lot of it was based off of some choices that I made. And you guys, what I realized is that it's okay for us to actually take a step back and look back. And oftentimes, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, I was afraid to actually look at that part of me because that part of us is not always a fun part to look at. So I was super afraid to look at it. So there are three things that I want to address. And the first one is, what do you, and we're going to start with the worst one, what do you not like or not love about you? Now, for me, I didn't love some of the things that I've done in my past, like for the fact that I had a child young, but I love my child. You know, I wouldn't change that for anything. I would change that for any amount of money, any amount of fame, any amount of anything, you know. But there are things, of course, in our lives that we can look back on and we're like, man, I can't believe I did that. I don't like that about me. And you know, for me, I've had to forgive myself several times for things like that. Like, how did I even get caught up in anything? You know, how did I even get caught up in that? Why was I like that? Why do I have this behavior? Why do I have this attitude? And oftentimes we can look back to the generations before us and see that they had those things. But here's the deal. Once you start to realize that you have that and you don't like that about yourself, you're in a better position to change that about you. Because what you don't change is going to automatically trickle down through your family. And the beautiful thing, though, is that each generation has a choice. But if you can nip that in the bud for them, they don't have to make that choice. And that's the beautiful part. So for me, one thing, I'm trying to think of one thing that I do not want my kids to have from me. So for one, my eating habits, the eating habits I once had, like now I eat a whole lot better. I call myself a flexitarian, but I really eat what my body wants. And I know it sounds crazy, but if my body wants cucumbers, I give it cucumbers because my body knows what it wants. But it takes you kind of listening to yourself and like, oh, okay, this is what I need. Because after I used to eat all the crap I wanted, like cakes and cookies and ice cream, my body would let me know that it wasn't happy. My taste buds, on the other hand, were like, yes, we got to do that again. But my body, not so much. And if I'm honest, I'm wondering if a lot of my bad eating habits sparked an autoimmune condition that I have. I have a bowel disease, and I'm wondering if that could have caused that. And now that I have kids, it could possibly happen to them. So I'm like, okay, this is something I want to nip in the bud. Now I want to help change their eating habits so that when they get older, they won't have to fight through it, you know, kind of like I've had to because taste buds are powerful things, I swear. Okay, so the next thing that I want you to think about is, what do you love about you? Like when I think about what I love about me, I love that I genuinely love people. I don't even know how to explain it. I used to think I was crazy. I was like, why am I always trying to help people? Why do I care? Like, why do I even care that this is happening to them? But this is actually a gift. When I was younger, I didn't understand, but now I totally understand. It's a gift. And I actually love that I love people. And once you realize what you love about you, you're able to kind of hone in on it and actually help it grow and see what it can become. Because a lot of times the things that you love about yourself are actually your gifts, and your gifts actually can become avenues for you to grow, you to help other people grow, and sometimes even to earn some kind of an income. So think really long and hard about what you love about you. Now, some people may have to think longer than others, and I get it because we've been so conditioned to always pull out our flaws. And I'm a believer, I'm a God girl. So I believe that when we do that, it's really a trick of the enemy. The enemy wants us to see those things because whatever we focus on, it grows, it multiplies. So if you keep focusing on your flaws, guess what happens? Your flaws will multiply. But if you keep focusing on your good, guess what happened? Your good will multiply. So today, I want to encourage you to think, yes, think about what you don't love about yourself, but think more on what you do love about yourself and think about that more and think about ways that you could actually use that to help you learn more, to help you grow, to help you help others. Because I believe this life is all about serving. And when we serve others, we kind of get out of our own box, I guess, our own box, and life gets better. Because I'm going to be honest, when I find myself thinking about me or what may be wrong, I go into like this little part of my mind that I don't like. And it may seem like depression. I'm going to be honest. That's happened before, especially after my mom passed. That was one of the hardest times in my life. But what I do know is that when I started focusing on other people, serving other people, those things kind of melted away because the focus wasn't on me. When I'm focusing on me and the woe is me stuff, then guess what happens? That those kind of things multiply. And that's how I believe depression starts to take over. And as moms, that's something we have to talk about because depression is real. And if we are going through that, then imagine what we're showing our kids. Imagine what they see. Imagine what they're going to have a hard time getting through as well. Now, if that's something that you have, please do not be afraid to get help. Because I actually had to when I had postpartum depression, which was shortly before my mom passed, which is crazy. My mom passed when my 6-year-old, my now 6-year-old, had turned 3 months. And I don't know, it just seems like maybe God was preparing me for that moment because I'd been fine. I'd never had any kind of issues like that mentally. And then that popped up. My mom passed. Well, first postpartum depression, and then my mom passed. But yeah, once I stopped thinking about the bad stuff and remembered her, the good things that she did, the way she raised me, and I'm so grateful for that, the way she raised me, the great things about her, and actually honing in on the kind of person she was that's in me and actually using that to serve other people and actually figuring out my gifts. And one thing about my mom is that she was very confident in herself. She didn't need anyone else to kind of like push her up or boost her up. She had enough for her in her. And I love that about her. And that's something that I have. And I'm so grateful that I am a recipient of that. That's a legacy that I would love to pass on to my kids, to my girls. Now, I did not mean to go that far, but I really believe that that's something that someone who's watching this is going to need. Now, the next thing, the last one that I want you to think about is how do you want people to see you? Like when people see you, how do you want them to leave when they leave? Like for me, for example, I want to make sure that anyone that's connected to me feel a sense of increase in their life, some kind of way. Like, have I helped you? Have I given you a new perspective? Have I helped you financially? Maybe. Have I helped you physically? Maybe. Like, how have I fed you? Like, what have I done? I like to leave a sense of increase wherever I go. And because I know that, I operate as such. Like, that's how my days go. If I cannot leave anyone feeling a sense of increase, I feel like I've done something wrong, or not necessarily in a bad way. I'm like, oh, got to do better tomorrow. Got to do better with the next person, etc. So really think about how you want people to see you, how you want people to view you, or how you want to be viewed. Now, I know some people say, well, I don't care how people see me, but if we're honest, we do. We really do care how people see us. But if you don't care how other people see you, how do you want your kids to see you? Let's be honest. How do you want your kids to see you? Like, I want my kids to see me as someone who's always, first off, making sure I'm okay first, and then also making sure that they're okay. Because if I can show them that, then they're going to want to make sure that they, themselves do the same thing. That'd be a different kind of legacy that I can leave for them. Because you guys, if you don't know me by now, I am all about making sure you put you first. Yeah, like I said before, you check in on the kids. It is time to check in on yourself. So I'm just going to go through these one more time to make sure you get it. If you want to take notes or write this down so that you can go back and look at it, please do me a favor and do that. Now, check in with you by first writing down, thinking about what you do not necessarily like about yourself in this moment or from the past or whenever. And of course, make sure you forgive yourself for those things. And then the next one, I want to know what you love about you. Focus on what you love about you. And of course, do things that actually cultivates what you love about you. And then the very last thing I want you to do is think about the kind of person that you want people to see you as, or how do you want your kids to see you? What kind of image do you want to leave people when they see you or when they've been around you or whatever? Because I think these things are so important. And unfortunately, we don't get taught this. Let me back a little bit. If you don't know me, I was a teacher. And this is something that we were not taught in school. Now, there are some great things that school does. Let's not bash school, but there are some things that school does not do well. And as you follow me, you are going to get a lot of it. And a part of that is making sure that we check in with ourselves, actually making sure that we learn more about us and that we love us. Because when we love us, that's when we learn more about us. When we learn more about ourselves, that's when we begin to love ourselves. And because I love me, I did not let school keep me in a box. I decided to go above and beyond that box. And one thing I highly believe is that when you love you and you know who you are, nothing and nobody can hold you back. And it makes you wonder why school doesn't actually have that as some kind of curriculum or embedded in the curriculum. But hey, it is what it is. So think about that for you and also for your kids, because as you work on this, you'll be able to begin to love you more and show your kids what it means to love yourself. And I think that's so important. And when they get in school, no matter what happens in school, they'll be able to have that firm foundation of knowing who they are and loving who they are and actually getting out of school and not actually having to work for anybody else or have to do the status quo. They can do what they're called to do. They can do something with their gifts, which is what we want. So yes, the Unprofessional Mom is all about putting you first. But when you put you first, you're able to show up fully, not just for you, but for your kids, for your spouse, at your job, for your business, etc. And that's exactly what I want for you all. So look, I thank you all so much for being a part of this. And look, I'm going to be on here again. So just follow those 3 things that I gave you. And when you do that, you're going to level up, but also your kids are going to level up in this thing that we call motherhood and parenthood. I'll see you all next time.